What else y'all getting in? What else y'all was getting into before we got on?
Yes. So we here. What's going on? This is Couch Coach Live. We are here. We're gonna we're here once again on another Tuesday. I got my guys in the building. I got our special guests. We're gonna start our NBA preview this week. We'll talk about the Eastern Conference. I got my guys from the Hoopers. I got my guy Fresh and John. What's going on, fellas?
Glad to be here. What's up, fellas?
And of course, in typical John fashion, top of the tops. Then of course, my guy Maui. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Oh, man. I'm good, man. I'm still trying to recover from yesterday. Before we get started, I realized something.
Yeah.
No wonder y'all. No wonder you Washington football team fans hate the Cowboys so bad, because you usually hate the people that you're like. That don't make no sense how y'all was acting, man. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gotta be like that, bro. I was all nice, talking about y'all line was good, like week 2. I was like, man, y'all got a chance. Y'all defensive line was, man, that was wrong, but y'all ain't got to do us like that, man.
Hey, man, I'm definitely proud of that team, man. What they did last night is like, man, it looks good going forward. That was a big win. I like, man, they got to keep that momentum going forward. And hey,
for sure.
Hey, this is when you want to play your best football is in December, and man. Right. So definitely huge shout out to them, man. It was a great, it was a great game, and for us to win on Monday Night Football is, it's a shock, because especially on Monday Night Football, we've always kind of been bad, and it's funny because I thought about a win that we had 20 years ago against the Rams that was kind of like almost similar in fashion, where it's like, wow, so it's funny to think like back in those days, like, but as of late, like Monday Night Football has always been struggles for us, and we always looked embarrassed. We're always the ones that the laughing stock on Tuesday mornings and stuff. But it's definitely a new day. So, fellas, so we got the Hoopers here. And we're going to start our NBA Eastern Conference preview. We're 2 weeks away from the start of the NBA season, and it's so funny to think, like, the turnaround. I know I'm definitely looking forward to this season, probably more like – and the Eastern Conference is really intriguing because it's such an – when we look at, the West Conference, it's almost like a one-team race in a sense. But in the Eastern Conference, it's a little bit more complex. Yeah. We got some teams that's gonna be coming out like y'all boys, which we're probably gonna allude to them. Y'all boys are the off-season champions, I swear. But we're definitely getting into that. So I'm gonna go around the horn, fellas. So I'm gonna go with you first, Maui. We're gonna talk about who is your team in the Eastern Conference to watch.
For me, I think it's the Wizards. I always felt like the Wizards just need a couple pieces, and with Wall getting hurt and having Westbrook coming in, I think Westbrook got something to prove, and I think DC gonna show him love. He looked like somebody said he looked like he from Southeast, so you know what I mean. Like I think he gonna be, you know what I mean, like he from Berry Farm somewhere, you know what I mean. So I just and I think it's gonna give, and I think he's also gonna be the step back with Beal. I know it's some other pieces there, but I just think that's the team I know I'm going to be watching for. You know what I mean? Because I want to see how that mesh. And then, Scott Brooks is there, right? You know what I'm saying? So we see what happens with that. That's the team I'm really watching. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. One more though is I know I got to pick one, but I also want to see what Atlanta's going to do, because I've been saying all year, I think as from a marketing standpoint, and Hoopers, I tend to do this to see it from a different perspective. If I'm a market something, I think Trae Young is a big star. And I think that he needs to be in the playoff. Like the All-Star, him and Devin Booker in the All-Star game did everything, damn near. And it's like they want to be in the limelight. So I think I want to see what Atlanta's going to put. And I think it's the ATL, and they need that push. ATL's been doing well, especially with the election and everything. They've been on top. So it's just time for them to, they need to be out there. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Two good choices.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with you first, Fresh. Fresh. Who you got? Who your teams to watch?
In the East, I'm starting with the 76ers and Doc. Philly had a lot of expectations last year. obviously a lot of chemistry issues. The team didn't really fit. I think they improved adding shooters to the team, and I think Doc gonna bring accountability there. And my second team is actually the Wizards. Also, I know Westbrook struggled in the bubble, but he was third team All NBA last year. 27 points per game. Right. Brad averaged 30. I like the Wizards this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Same Wizards first, because Adam Westbrook, I think he likes playing with players like Brad Beal who can get their own bucket. So he don't have to worry about Bradley Beal too much. He can take that step back. But then you got shooters around him as well. Bertans. Who else you got out there?
They added Denny in the
draft. Yeah. Mo Wagner is a decent shooter. Good pick and roll partner. Robin Lopez, a good pick and roll partner. Right. Thomas Bryant. They still need a backup point guard. I think they're going to make a trade eventually for that. Yeah. But the Wizards definitely, and Brooklyn. I cannot wait to see Kyrie and KD on the court together at the same time. Right. I just think that then with Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni running that team and that offense, I think Brooklyn gonna have a chance to do something real special this year. Be really good.
Yeah, and that's funny because I also said the Wizards is mine as well. I just look at just everything, also coupled with Russell Westbrook. We said Wilson. Anyway, so you see that, and then like you said, bringing back Bertans, you bring him. Then you got the Fresh Prince of Tel Aviv, as you guys mentioned earlier. And then also, guy that we love, especially network wise, catches Winston. That's a nice pickup for them. And I think he's going to be, and I think he could potentially fill that void as the backup point guard. I don't know potentially this year, but I think he can fill that void. I think he's another one of those guys. I think he's a ready-made guy, even at 22, 23 years old, which is weird to think an NBA rookie now is in his, in his early 20s, kind of a strange thought when, that's never now when we got, teenagers and stuff now in the league. But I like that. And then also, like you said, you talked about Thomas Bryant. I like, he was healthy down the stretch. And then like this team, it's going to be interesting. Then it was already they were 10th in the Eastern Conference last year. Then you add those and all those returning parts are coming back. So, and then also Roy. I think Roy's going to, Roy Hachimura. He's another guy I think who's going to emerge. Because like to me, he's people, I kind of agree with too, where he's kind of almost like, and we hate to say this, but he's like a poor man's Kawhi Leonard.
I've seen that. Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those where you're like, okay, well, it's a situation where you like that, and then also like I like what Atlanta did. I think guys, Atlanta, guys, Atlanta guys,
Rondo,
Rondo. Bringing in Gallinari and Bogdanović, which a steal because he was supposed to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, real fun.
And probably by far one of the most bizarrest in that, as far as acquisition standpoint, where because I think did it happen like on draft night? Because remember on draft night they said, well, he's gonna become a free agent. Remember
they expected, and remember he got traded. They thought he was gonna go to the Bucks, but I knew something would happen with the money. And he was going to go somewhere else.
So that you guys get the two shooters there, so that'll help free up because Trey get do his thing, and then he can dish it out to them. And one of them going to have open looks,
right?
And then you look at like you said, bringing in my guy Chris Dunn. I'm a Bulls guy, so Chris Dunn, he's definitely going to help you guys out big time
on defense.
Yeah, and then Rondo. And then I want to see the emergence of Cam Reddish and Hunter. So I think, but those are going to be kind of some interesting. That's going to be an interesting dynamic in Atlanta. So I think that's going to be something that should like, something that should like can go forward. It's going to be definitely interesting.
Right, definitely.
Yeah,
Chris Dunn was a good pickup too because Trae Young needs some defending guards around him.
Correct. So like he can pick up that perimeter guy, and he's gonna be. And that's one thing he was really sad for him to go because I think now it was because he kind of came to his own last year where the potential when you seen like the kind of the Providence.
Yeah, exactly.
When you look at him from there, you're like, oh well, he gonna be all right. But then he kind of had the situation in Minnesota, and then came to us, and you figure it took him a while to kind of get his foot in the league, and he kind of finally got it. So it does suck that he is leaving, but he's going to a great team. He's going to to a potential playoff team, barring anything catastrophic. So from the Eastern Conference, the biggest acquisition. I'm gonna go with you first. John. Who's your biggest acquisition in the Eastern Conference?
Acquisition? Ooh, it gotta be Westbrook. It gotta be Westbrook to Washington.
I think so too, man.
I think he kind of provides some of the stuff that John Wall does. Maybe not defensively, but offensively, like he's a better scorer. He's still gonna push the ball. He's a good facilitator, and I know it was, it came out when Houston was kind of leaking some trades, and that was one of them. So we kind of rolled it off. So when it happened, I think that's still like one of the craziest things that happened this offseason as well. And I just think he's going to help that team. Like I said, they were 10th with injuries last year. So you're adding a player who can kind of play through some injuries and really help that team. And despite all the talk that the media gives, he is a good teammate. So he is going to be good for those young players, definitely.
Yeah, big time. And that's definitely a key acquisition. Mal, who's your biggest acquisition in the Eastern Conference? You got it, Maui? You heard me?
No, I don't hear you.
Oh, all right. You hear me now?
I ain't here. I'm sitting here like trying to. Right. Is it me?
Yeah. So yeah. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
Yeah.
We still here.
Yeah, we're still here. So I think the biggest acquisition for me, I think kind of going back to like you said, Russ is, I think when you look at it from a star potential, yes, he's the heads on for it. But sneaky. I even created a word, sneakily.
Hey, that's what we do, right?
Right. Call me crazy, but I like what Philly did. I think when you look at a package deal, like you bringing in Dwight, bringing in Seth Curry, and then you're bringing in Green, which now they have shooters. That's what they lacked. And that's what they lacked. And that was the biggest thing I thought, like, with Philly, like they really lacked the shooting ability. So, you get those kind of guys, and like you said, coupled with like Doc Rivers, which that's another. If I want to kind of,
that's a good. That's a big acquisition for him.
They're more in the front office. Yeah, so I like that as well. But I think, like, you can't go wrong with, like you said, with Russell Westbrook, because he's like the biggest star as far as the acquisition wise in the Eastern Conference. So, Fresh, who's your biggest acquisition in the Eastern Conference?
Mine, for me, for sure, was I got to go hometown to the Hawks with Rondo, because I think the Hawks are trying to take that next step. And for one, Trey needed a good backup. They struggled with a backup for him last year. But you bring in championship mindset and Rondo experience. I think Rondo really helps the Hawks take that next step. So I love the Hawks adding Rondo. I liked all the moves that they made, but Rondo was my favorite. Just what he brings to the team with experience, veteran leadership, and just somebody to help Trey, take that next step. We all know how dynamic of a player he is, 28, 29, and 8 last year. So, Rondo's going to bring that leadership for the Hawks for sure. And I like what y'all said about Philly. I like what Philly did. But other than the Hawks, I think Westbrook, because I was already looking forward to John Wall coming back with the Wizards. But I think Westbrook not coming back from such a big injury as John Wall, it's a good pickup for them. And then the relationship he already had with Scott Brooks, because he had some great years with him. So point guards in the Eastern Conference were big acquisitions the last couple of months for sure. But the Hawks look good this offseason. So
Yeah, and that's like you said, and I think that's the one where you look at like as far as from a totality, it's like as far as a team. Atlanta definitely helped themselves, and I mentioned earlier about that 3-point shooting. It's gonna be lights out.
Yeah. Right.
They're gonna shoot you out of the gym. Like just
Rondo was so unexpected to me because I just knew he was going to the Clippers or back to the Lakers. So then I saw the Hawks. They was like they were gonna give him the 15 for 2 years. I'm like, he's not gonna take that from the Hawks. And when he signed, I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. I know because when at first I was like, is he gonna really go for that? Because I figured he wanted to be in a situation like you're saying, because he would have been essentially kind of one of the missing pieces with the, especially if they would have got him and then bringing in Serge. You're like,
right, yeah. And would have probably gave him an opportunity to start also because, coming down to him and Patrick Beverly, I would start him over Patrick Beverly. So you start for the championship. I'm like, he's not coming here. But I guess he really liked the roster and he liked the city. So
that's true. And then the good thing about him too, where he could be that guy where it's like he could be that, as far as the heat check guy, where you like, as far as somebody want to try to mess with the golden child.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna have to deal with him big time. So that's one thing too, where you like he's a heat check guy. So you want a guy like that, a veteran leadership, and like you said, that is a young team, so definitely. He'll have those guys back, and you're gonna have especially like when you got like Miami coming to town,
right?
Jimmy Butler is, so you ain't got to be worry about him in his antics because Rondo gonna put him in his place.
Right? Yeah. You're not bullying the Hawks. You're not bullying the Hawks.
Right.
And with Chris Dunn as well.
Chris Dunn.
Chris Dunn. Yes. Yeah, and that's one thing too. Where that's another thing when you look at especially outside the X's and O's, where you like the intangible of that, it's gonna be like leaps and bounds, and that's a great that was another one where you think about those two acquisitions when you look at how they changed the course of the offseason. When we talk about Bogdanović was at on en route to Milwaukee,
right?
And you guys snuck in and got him. So I like those are two great acquisitions, and you're like it's
And another sneaky good acquisition for the Hawks also was getting Gallinari because I remember when I first saw that they signed him, his third year, only $5 million of that money is guaranteed. He signed a 3-year, $61 million deal. So that third year, only $5 million is guaranteed up until a certain point. Then the rest become guaranteed. So they kept some flexibility while adding a key piece with him. So the Hawks made some good moves this summer for sure. Well, this fall.
I know, right? It's so weird. It's like it's just so bizarre. Like, and it's funny because I thought about it, and because I was looking some stuff up for the Eastern Conference, and then I was like, I totally forgot about certain things that all the stuff that just happened a few weeks ago, and you think to yourself. You're thinking in normal things like, did this happen like in the summer? But it's not.
Right.
It's happened like 3 weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. Like all this stuff going on. But yeah, Maui, you good? You good?
I don't think so. I've been dealing with this all day long, bro. All day I've been dealing with stuff like this.
Yeah, man. So your biggest acquisition in the Eastern Conference?
Man, I'm trying. I really wanted to pick something different, but I'll say this. I'll say Philly getting Doc Rivers. You know what I mean? Maybe they can figure out. Seem like all of them in some type of way need to get over a hump. Even did he become like the guy who came from Houston that was in the office? Even him coming in, it seemed like all of them are in a position where they just really couldn't get over a hump. So maybe they might figure out. I don't believe so, but you know what I mean. Just to pick something else besides Atlanta and the Wizards. I just think the Wizards are going to be something special.
No, yeah, definitely.
I really do believe the Wizards are going to be something special.
And it's crazy because Jrue Holiday.
Like I was going to say Atlanta. But I think with Westbrook there, and I think he's going to be happy. He's going to be in a town where a lot of people look like him too. And that means a lot. And he's going to get some love. He's going to get some love in that place, just like John Wall got love, and just like James Harden got love in Houston. They going to love him in DC. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Seriously.
Yeah. You said
Drew Holiday, like that got brushed to the side once everything started rolling for real. But that was a good pickup for Milwaukee, honestly, because he's an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe, whereas he does the same thing, but he does it better. He's better defender, better shooter, better point guard, combo guard type. I think I don't know if he puts him into a championship, but he definitely keeps them on pace for one.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's true. So, fellas, I want to get into the most overrated team in the Eastern Conference. And this is gonna be it's interesting, but it's gonna be one of those things. I have one, and it's just it's gonna be kind of low key contradicting myself, especially going forward. Yeah. So I want to hear you guys take on the overrated team. I want your thoughts on the overrated team. I'm gonna go with you. Go with you first, Fresh.
I'm gonna make a few people unhappy with this pick, but my overrated team in the Eastern Conference is Miami. I think Miami went on a solid run last year. I think they got hot in the bubble, but I don't think they're locked to go to the finals this year. I think the East got better. I expected Miami to add a few pieces.
They added Avery Bradley.
They added Avery Bradley, but I'd rather them kept Jay Crowder.
Mohawkless.
I'm not
Mohawkless. I'm not even about Mohawkless.
Not a big Mohawkless. I don't love the moves that Miami made. I think that they're gonna be a year older, so that helps. But I don't see them running away with the conference like I would expect after coming off of a championship run to the finals. So I know a lot of people not gonna like that one, but
and that's the thing with this conference. It's like because when you look at it. It's deep, but it's like you're saying, even though my rationale is going to be kind of similar to yours in a sense, which I kind of glad like you led with the Miami, which I don't feel as bad, but I'm going to
I think they're going to have a solid year, but just coming off of the finals, I can easily see Milwaukee still being ahead of them. I can see Brooklyn. If KD is healthy, Brooklyn's going to finish in the top 3 if KD is healthy. And I know that's a big if, obviously. Philly was better than Miami last year to me. Their chemistry didn't work. Miami.
Yeah. John, who you got?
Most overrated team in the East. And I hate to say it because I do like this team. The Celtics. I think the Celtics are stuck. He know how I feel about Danny Ainge, the new Joe Dumars. I think Jason Tatum, who's a great player, I think he's been put on a level he hasn't reached yet. Kemba Walker being out at the beginning of the season is going to throw him off because Marcus Smart now has to be a real point guard and not a center point guard. Jaylen Brown, who I think is their best player, he's real inconsistent because sometimes he just can't find his shot or find shots at all. I don't know how they replace Gordon Hayward. Tristan Thompson doesn't solve the problem that they had with size. It's another undersized big man. I'm not going to get into that rant again. I just think Boston could, but they were the 3rd seed last year. I think Boston can slip down to 5 or 6, maybe even 7, because unless they work out that point guard situation early in the year. They're going to be playing catch up a lot.
Yeah.
And with losing Kemba, they also lost Wanamaker, who was a backup guard for them.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you said Boston.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see Boston coming, but
I like them.
I understand what you mean, though.
Brad Stevens, Danny Ainge with this guard wing big thing, just it's not getting them over the hump. And I put a lot of it on Danny Ainge, who I call the new Joe Dumars.
We actually talk about like Houston kind of got the credit for playing the small ball last year, trading Capella and like going drastically small, but Boston was right there with them playing.
Star center 6'3".
Grant Williams plays center a lot. He's 6'6".
Marcus Smart 6'4", 6'5". Boston does play a really small lineup a lot of games.
Yeah, Boston. I think Boston they need, which Jason Tatum took a good step last year. He made his first All-Star.
Is he gonna average 27 this year though?
I said that's what they need from him this year.
He's gonna have to. Yeah.
Like, they say he Paul Pierce Kobe. We got to see that this year.
We'll find out.
Which is really good. Like, not to say that he's not good. Jason Tatum's really good.
He's really good. Yeah,
Boston has the best wing combination right now with Jason and
Jason Tatum is very Paul George to me. Sometimes I see him and think, oh, he could be the best player in the league, and then sometimes I get turned off by his inconsistency at times.
But don't do as he do though. Don't.
Don't.
And then we get fact checked. You look dumb.
Right. Facts. Yeah, for sure.
So don't leave Brad Stevens alone.
Hey, I'm gonna leave him alone, man.
No, not you. I'm talking about Jason Tatum. Like if he becomes.
Oh yeah, Jason Tatum. Yeah, I hope you don't throw him under the bus, man, because he's kind of made the offense for Jason Tatum to be a star. Honestly, Jason Tatum does get to call his own shots.
Dang, man. That's harsh, man. You call that man you call that man
Gil Dumars, but you remember Gil Dumars used to collect veteran big man. Now Danny Ainge collecting draft picks. Players.
And that's another thing too with Danny Ainge. I like you said, it's to me it's almost like having cash, but then you spending it on BS. It's like because most of those guys, you think about it, all those draft capitals, they haven't really done much. Most of those guys be in the G League, and they be like
his biggest signing has been Al Horford,
right? And the crazy thing about it,
I guess he traded for Kyrie,
and most of those guys, he get good draft guys, but it's just the part they just don't make it in the league. Because I remember remember the kid from Kentucky, James Young.
Yeah, he just got picked up by the Knicks, I think. The Knicks league.
Right, and I love that pick, and then he gets a lot of like good, like solid, like college basketball guys, and we're like, okay, they, maybe they could turn into something, but like you said, he hoards picks, and it's just like, what is this like?
Right,
and like and those guys.
I remember when they first started, like right after Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce trade. So it was kind of like they were building two teams. Right. You had a team that could make the playoffs, but you had a team that was building for 5 years later. Yeah. Now you got a team that's built for the conference finals, but you're still building for 5 years later. And so you kind of get stuck and stagnant because you like what you got and you don't want to trade in these draft picks to get better. Because he believes his draft picks are more valuable. I think OKC is going to get stuck right there too, honestly. But that's a conversation for another episode.
A little also.
Yeah, and like we said, well, OKC, if you are a freshman in college to a seventh grader, if you say you go to the NBA, you going to Oklahoma City. You might as well talk about when you're in that age, you need to be. You can't even say you're gonna be in the NBA. Just say I'm gonna play for the Oklahoma Thunder. I'm playing for the Thunder. Right. I'm gonna be the 18th draft pick. But shout out to Sam Preston, man. He might be the next. Danny Ainge. But Maui. So who's your overrated team in the Eastern Conference?
The Nets. Are you serious? Oh my God, man! It's almost like it looked like it's just bad, man, all around. Like. I know Kyrie, me, man. Kyrie is a beast, but at the same time, really, come on, y'all. Like, he's never really healthy. Like, he hit that shot. You know what I'm saying? And let's just be real. I think it's 2020 and everything, it really just started standing out. I mean, Harden look at everybody's trying to leave certain, Sort of Harden want to leave Houston. Like, you had to really look at the situation, like, how many people they gonna bring to him for him to even think? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just think they're trying to put something together, man. And I think KD, I think they might have to get Harden because I think Kyrie gonna get hurt like he always does. Like he has to prove me wrong that he's not going to get hurt.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know what I mean? But the Nets I've always been a fan of the Nets anyway. I think they got heart. Even in a bubble, they just seem like one of those teams that got a lot of heart. We don't know how this coach is going to be. It's just,
that's true. That's true.
It's just like, come on, man. Well, man, it's like they just put some stuff together. You know what I mean? And we have, that's really almost, I should have took that back. That's probably the team to really watch, because I've seen the team before. It almost looked like the Clippers of the East.
Ooh.
That's
I ain't mad at it. You right about that. I think that's what it come down to with Brooklyn for real. Like, are they gonna be healthy? Because Karis LeVert doesn't stay healthy. Kyrie, KD coming off an Achilles, so you don't really know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, a lot of ifs.
So it's a lot of ifs. I don't know. There's a lot of talent on that team, though. I can't overlook the talent that they have. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. But then, like you said, if they get James Harden, those guys are gonna be gone. Because you think about that's the weird thing about it. And matter of fact, you know what's so crazy? Because I kept on and I think it was because we did the draft a draft watch party for the network, and I remember was like, why in the world did they get Larry Shamet?
Yeah,
and then somebody was like, I forgot. I think it might have been Edgar. He was like, you know what's probably going to happen is they're probably going to try to use him as a part of a package.
Yeah.
Going somewhere because he is a nice commodity. Because I'm thinking to myself, you get rid of Larry Shamet, but I understand the Luke Kennard situation and getting him, but then a part of me is like, well, you got Larry Shamet is a guy who is a good perimeter defender. Like, you should keep him,
right?
The Clippers, in that predicament, especially when you got your guys across the hall from you.
Oh, yeah,
you might want to grab some guys on the perimeter,
right?
Who can guard the perimeter. The overrated team, and this is weird to say this, but the Tampa Bay Raptors. Well, Toronto Raptors. Part of me, I think them losing guys like a Serge Ibaka and then Marc Gasol is really gonna hurt them.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Because and I think when we talked about as far as like when we look at from like as far as defense wise, because we were looking at Marc Gasol like. Call me crazy. He was like the defensive player in the bubble, in the play-in games. Yeah, so you look at it from that standpoint, and he's going to definitely, be great with the Lakers, and then also Serge going to the Clippers.
Yeah,
I think they losing those. I'm like, but a part of me, but it was always somewhat of a downfall, not a downfall, but even how they lost last year, kind of in the sense, when they lost to the Celtics. In the second round, but then you're part of you like they could have won that series because of course that won the 7 games, which they had no business even being in it. Boston just like a 5-game series. Yeah, they almost clippered that situation where they sequestered that lead. And then I'm like, you lose those two guys. I'm like, and then you look at Siakam, like, I think they're going to be a great regular season team. They don't give me even going, even to being in Tampa Bay. I still think they're going to still be a good regular season team, but I don't know as far as going forward in the playoffs where you might see the same type of situation.
Yeah,
and I know Mark definitely is older. He's probably going to retire in the next couple of years, and Serge is still pretty good, but they were their starting front court pretty much. So you lose your starting center and your power forward, and who did they replace them with? So. That's a good point.
And that's one thing you just don't know, and that's the thing where I'm glad they did sign Van Fleet to that deal. He's staying there, and then you still got Kyle Lowry, so you always still got a chance. But I think when we look at because a lot of people in this weird, because Toronto is in a weird spot. Because Toronto, some people might look at them as still kind of in that playoff and that as far as a championship level team.
Right.
Some do. And
some people do.
And then some people, like me, in the sense, well, I think that championship window is slightly closed. And like if we look at it from a window perspective, the window's about halfway closed.
Yeah, I agree. They're gonna need OG to really step up.
He stepped up.
OG, Harris Davis, Chris Boucher, all of them will have to have But like you say, you're still who do you replace Mark and Serge with?
Right.
And is Pascal gonna really take that next step? Because I still see him as right there below Giannis, where they kind of do the same things. Pascal's a better shooter, clearly. But I think his offensive game is still real limited to where when you get in those situations in the playoffs, he just doesn't help a lot on offense for real. Like if he isn't making shots.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then the thing is too, I don't like how he was saying, well, like last year I wasn't myself. I wasn't, wasn't happy. I wasn't, but the part of me was like, he claimed he's gonna bring it back, reel it back in from the championship years, but
you can't do that. Kawhi's not there.
Right.
Yep. There you go. Yep.
Correct. So that's how part of me is like, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna be able to recapture that type of quote unquote magic that you thought you had 2 years ago, which, like you said, why was probably one of the biggest, with that. So we talked about the overrated teams. Who are your sleeper teams? I'm gonna go with you first, Mal. Who is your sleeper in the Eastern Conference?
Let me think. I want to pick something a little different though. I can't. You mean when you say sleeper team, you mean a team that just come out of nowhere?
Kind of like, or some a team that when we look at like a front runner, like I mean, something that may a team that may be like maybe 5th or 6th or something in that range. Or
man, I really shouldn't do this, and I'm not gonna give y'all the details. Y'all probably gonna laugh, but I'm gonna say Charlotte.
I like that. I like that one.
And the reason why I'm saying it, like I'm not like you guys when it comes to numbers and knowing names. I'm looking at it from a marketing standpoint. And I just feel like them paying Hayward that I know Michael can't be that dumb to pay Hayward all that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be something behind the scene where, because he really don't pay people anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting here like, okay, maybe some method to the madness. And then with Ball there, maybe he's trying to, say, okay, now it's time for me to make a little move. I can't give y'all the numbers, and I'm just picking that team because I just got the strangest feeling like he's like, it's time to make a move. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of felt too that I don't know. I just feel like he drafted him, and it's gonna be a circus around that. So that's one of the reasons why I think we don't. Everybody laughing saying he's dumb for paying Hayward. Maybe there's a reason why. So I'm just picking them maybe to try to sneak their way to number 8. What you smiling at? What you smiling at for, Coach?
And what's funny because I kept on saying to myself, in life, you can't make a mistake twice. And because I always thought when Utah matched that deal, because he was supposed to get that, he was supposed to go to Charlotte in 2016. Remember?
Yeah, he was.
And Utah qualified. And I was like, the Lord saved you. The Lord saved you. Like, no, what do you do 4 years later? He saved you from making that mistake of paying. Because at that time, I was like, you giving him that kind of money? And this was in 2016. That's when everybody's getting money. That's when your boy, what's the boy from Cleveland? Timothy Moskov got $64 million with the Lakers. Like $64 million.
Noah got $60 million that year.
They ain't got what, 56 that year? Yeah, a lot of money.
Everybody was getting money. Everybody. But Charlotte is interesting too, Ian, like especially with Ball, and then they got good finishers, PJ Washington, Miles Bridges,
and
they got rid of Nicholas Batum.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
So a part of me is like, okay, it's funny because it kind of reminds me of almost like, I don't know if you guys remember when Jordan was the GM of the Wizards. Remember, we were like, oh, he got rid of Courtney Alexander's contract. We was just like, okay, well, but then he ended up getting like Jerry Stackhouse, which was like, really? It's weird. Like it's like he do one good thing and then he replaced it with something that's like, okay, like Nick Batum, like for him to get rid of him was like perfect,
right?
They had to get rid of Batum. He had to go.
He had to go.
He wasn't helping in any way, like at all.
Because I was
money didn't help at all either.
I don't know, man. I think he might be something going on where he might be trying to make a little push.
Yeah.
Charlotte's not a bad pick,
yeah,
especially with the playing game. Game makes everything.
Right.
And you can make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
right.
At Tennessee, you can make the playoffs, which is very, very interesting. But so I'm gonna go with you first, Fresh. Your sleeper team in the East.
Sleeper in the East. That's kind of tough. I wouldn't call him a sleeper as far as maybe contending, but just trying to make some noise in the playoffs. Like I said, with the playing game, I'm gonna go Orlando. I like Markelle Fultz, how he developed last year. I think he got like really confident, kind of found himself again, comfortable. Right. They got Vooch, who made the All-Star game. I think this is going to be a make or break year for Aaron Gordon. So they got people that need to kind of prove themselves. I like getting Cole Anthony. Yeah. Cole, a lot of people thought he was going to go top 5 last year. Obviously, he slipped in the draft. So, and just with the playing game, and they made the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs last 2 years. So I don't expect them to contend for a championship, but I'm not seeing them on anybody's playoff radar. So I like Orlando as a sleeper to maybe get anywhere between like 6 to 9 spot. So they could steal some games in the regular season, especially if Markelle Fultz, who was the consensus number 1 pick, like everyone said they were going to draft him number 1. And he looked good last year when he was healthy. Big guard, plays good defense. He's athletic, can't shoot, but he has a good mid range. And so I like Orlando. They and I think are they gonna have the guy who tore his ACL? Isaac. I think with him not being there, it's gonna help Aaron Gordon define who he's gonna be, so they can really decide: am I gonna keep Aaron Gordon or am I gonna trade him? And you make a flip him for some assets. So.
Yeah, because I think he got hurt in August, so I don't think he would. He may not even come back.
He's done for
this season.
Yeah, because he tore his ACL. So
ACL in August, and that's another thing that sucked. Like the way the season is now, like if you have an injury, especially of that nature, you ain't coming back this year.
Yeah. So Orlando, they can sneak their way into the playoffs again, or so. I'm trying to see what they're gonna do this year.
Yeah. Joy, who you got? Who you got, Joy?
Sleeper team. Ooh. Man, something different because try not to go Hawks in Washington. Honestly, Charlotte, because they did finish right outside the bubble last year. Devontae Graham was good for him as a 3-point shooter. Then you had a big guard with LaMelo. Gordon Hayward as a $30 million glue guy. who does a lot for him. I think if Charlotte can find a reliable big outside of Cody Zeller, I think Charlotte could make some noise, maybe once again around that 7-10 spot, probably take a playoff spot away from like the Pacers or maybe Tampa Bay. I like Charlotte, man. I think Jordan drafting LaMelo speaks a lot about his game, honestly, because I'm not the biggest LaMelo fan. I think he still got some growing up on the court to do. But the talent and the skill is there, and you can't deny it. I want him to shoot a little better behind the 3-point line, though. But Charlotte, and like that marketing, you got a bona fide star. He's been a star since the 10th grade. Everybody knows LaMelo. So Charlotte, man.
Because I say this: he got that star quality, man. If you not gonna put the stuff around him and take advantage of it, then somebody else gonna take it. You know what I mean? Somebody else gonna take it. But that's the type of game they like now, man. They like them half-court shots and flare and this and that.
Behind the back passes,
right?
Got your jelly fam layups,
right?
But Charlotte definitely though. I think it's about time for the Hornets to be good again. Like.
Right.
Kind of missed the Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning days, Muggsy Bogues. Don't we kind of miss that a little bit when Charlotte was good?
I seen Glenn Rice do. I went to the Gunneria and I saw Glenn Rice shoot 42 against the Cavs, and I was like, it was the sneakiest. I'm like, he made 42. Like it was crazy. You know what I mean?
Nah, nice,
because he was also MVP.
Yeah, he was.
Right. It was that year. He
averaged like 27 that year. He was going crazy.
Okay, man. Look, you good with numbers. I was thinking about playing the lottery. Give me like 8. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. So my sleeper's gotta be the Sixers. And what's funny about the Sixers, because I think when you look at the Sixers, because we look at just like what happened last year as far as just, and then, you look at it from the standpoint of now you're bringing in Doc, and like we talked about earlier about bringing in the shooters like Lil Seth. And which is, and what's funny, and it didn't dawn on me, he bringing in his son-in-law. So and I was like, this is so just once again where it's like everything revolves around. What's weird about all of this, and I hate all this, like it's almost like the 6 degrees of Doc Rivers' wife. I mean, his daughter, Paul George.
Always.
What is going on?
Doc gotta have a family member on his team at all times.
He's so wrong, bro. He's so wrong. He's so wrong.
I was like, what is going on? Like, why is Doc doing this? Like, you look at it from that standpoint. And then bringing in like guys like Danny Green, like we talked about earlier. And then Dwight, I think Dwight is a sneaky acquisition as well. Definitely backing up Joel Embiid. So
that's a good backup he's had so far.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. So yeah, and it's just so weird, like how, like you said, Doc and nepotism, it goes hand in hand, or some type of form of, So if it ain't an ex-boyfriend, so it's gotta be something. It's one of the things where it has to happen in some form of fashion. But yeah, man. So yeah, I definitely look at it in all seriousness, the Sixers. I think that'd be kind of like one of those dark horses where I can see them, as far as it probably would be like a lower seed in the playoffs, but I can see them potentially, maybe making it to the second round and kind of, when everything's constructed. And who knows, at current day, if there isn't any James Harden, coming to town, type situation going on, because who knows with him, and that's gonna be another variable I think going forward is where he gonna go. I think, and that's nothing where
Philly is on his teams to be traded to,
right? And because this is one of the wish lists. This is Philly's on the wish list.
Yeah,
if he ends up in Philly, you kind of think stuff is going bad because who you trading for him at this point other than Ben Simmons?
Oh yeah, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is top of the line. He's gonna be on mine. Like he's gonna. if I'm Houston,
you're asking for.
I'm getting right. Yeah,
that's what you want back. Yeah, definitely.
Right. What like what Shannon Sharp said. He like go James without a jump shot.
Have y'all noticed nobody said the Knicks? That's so sad, man.
I was thinking the Knicks, but I was like, the Knicks are like 2 years away, honestly. Like at the least, the Knicks are like 2 years away.
And
you said that 2 years ago.
No, 2 years now. 2 years away. 2 years away. I probably would have said 2 years ago, but I think the Knicks are in a weird position where they're trying to build the team the right way this time. Draft picks, not signing veterans to these big contracts. Joakim Noah. So I think the Knicks don't mind being quiet right now. Nobody's talking about them. I think they like it like that right now. But I think RJ Barrett is going to be. I don't know something about left-handed players. I'm not going to go against left-handed players. I think RJ Barrett is going to be a real special scorer once he figure it out in the NBA.
And they got a good young team, and then they got great coaching, which that's going to definitely. But I think their biggest market is going to be next year, because I really think that 2021 free agency class could kind of infiltrate that potentially. I know we always say with the Knicks, we look at a monumental free agent impact free agent year. We always include the Knicks.
We do. Yeah.
They
got to hit one of these days.
Then,
the Lakers finally hit with LeBron. So
correct.
I guess it's going to be the next turn eventually.
And that's why you look at like, hey, if LeBron can do it, somebody else can come here and rechange the fortunes of us. And like they got, with Tibbs there, and then even if, the young talent, like I think them getting Obi Toppin was perfect. I think, New York kid also, with that. So I definitely love that acquisition, but most definitely. So let's round out our Eastern Conference preview, fellas. So let's go into so we want to get your prediction from 1 through 8. So I'm gonna go with you. All right, I'm gonna go with you first, Fresh. I'm gonna go with you first, Fresh.
Yeah, I gotta write this down.
All right.
1 through 8. I wanted to say the Bucks won, but they've been won the last 2 years. So I can't see them doing it 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it kind of gets tough. So 1, I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I just said it. I'm gonna go with them. They just seem like the team, like they already got the chemistry. They bringing back everything. They got to figure it out. I'm picking them 1, but I don't think they're going to the finals. 2, I could easily see Philly sliding into the 2 slot. They remind if the chemistry is there, they got 2 of the better players in the East, and Joel and Ben. So I like Philly at 2. I like Brooklyn at 3. If KD is healthy, KD finishes in the top 3. It's kind of that simple for me. I expect Kyrie to miss some games because Kyrie is always hurt. But I expect Brooklyn in the top 3. I like Miami at 4. I like Boston at 5. I'm taking the Wizards at 6. Westbrook doesn't miss the playoffs. He doesn't go to the finals, but he don't miss the playoffs either. So I like the Wizards at 6. I'm taking Toronto at 7. Tampa Bay at 7. And I like the Atlanta Hawks at number 8.
Nice. John, who you got?
Milwaukee number 1. Like, I think they just got the regular season figured out in the East. And adding Drew Holiday, like I said, is an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe. Losing George Hill hurts, but I think Giannis and all to make up for that. I got Brooklyn at number 2, and once again, it depends on everybody being healthy, including Karis LeVert, who they expect a big year from. Yeah. Maybe Jared Allen starts, which he should start over DeAndre Jordan.
Start. He said he expected not to start.
Number 3, Philly, because I like what Doc's been saying, how he's going to run a pick and roll. He said, he basically wants Ben Simmons to just stay aggressive. It ain't about how many threes he shoots, just stay aggressive with the offense. And Philly's been one of the better defensive teams when everybody is healthy. And for a young team to be good defensively and a good passing team, you don't see that often. I don't think none of that changed. Plus adding shooters. And I think the one part we keep forgetting about Steph Curry game, he can get his own bucket off the dribble.
Yeah. I
don't think nobody really mentions that, but he can't get his own bucket off the dribble.
Stepdaddy gonna make sure he got the opportunity. My bad, father-in-law, not stepdaddy.
Y'all wrong for that. Wrong.
I got Boston at number 4 because I just think that's where they are. They're a home court advantage team now, at least in the first round. 5 and 6. I got Washington at 5. I think with a healthy Westbrook and a healthy Bradley Beal, I think they are one of the top 5 teams in the East. Bradley Beal's average 30. I don't think he's going down from that. I think he's going to get better.
Yeah.
I got Miami at 6. I think Miami's going to take a step back because I don't think Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson is going to be as open as they think they are. And it can happen, but I need Tyler Herro to take a big jump with his ball handling and shooting off the dribble. I know Duncan Robinson's going to knock down every shot open look he gets. I don't know how open he's going to be this year because you're on the scouting report now.
Yeah, heavy.
I got the Hawks right there at 7. Like I say, bringing in Chris Dunn, Gallinari, Rondo, Bogdan. And once John Collins' contract situation is set in stone, I think he's going to be happy and ready to go. And Clint Capella is the perfect pick and roll partner for Trae Young.
Yeah.
8. 8 could be anybody from Indiana to Charlotte. I'm gonna go with Charlotte because that's my
man.
Because I think LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward is worth the AC at the minimum.
No Tampa Bay.
I was thinking Tampa Bay a couple days ago. I don't know. I think they take a big step back losing Mark and Serge Ibaka. Like losing one was bad enough, but to lose both of them,
right?
You kind of go like those are your defensive anchors. Honestly, because you have, especially with small guard and Pascal being a thinner big man, I think they can miss the playoffs this year because they didn't. What did they add in free agency?
Nope.
Fred VanVleet to the contract.
And then it was another dude, Aaron Baines.
Oh, they got Aaron Baines.
Aaron Baines, which. Yeah, I mean he's a middle class. He's a middle class.
But see, Aaron Baines would be better if you would have kept Serge or Mark. I think kind of your best big man. That kind of hurts you a little bit because he's more of a shooter, enforcer than a defender, rebounder, which they are losing. Defense, rebound, and shot blocking. So yeah, I think Toronto they make the playoff game, but I don't know if they make the playoffs.
Okay, cool. Maui, who you got? What'd you 1 through 8?
All right. You. Hey, don't judge me. No, seriously, I got the Bucks number 1. As we all said, they've been there, so it is the East, so they know something. But I got Miami at number 2, and I think I just put, I don't know. I hear what you guys are saying, and I wish Crowder was still there, but I also think they have something to prove. You know what I mean? And I think they got a little more confidence because they dug deep, and I think they just saw something. Sometimes I think they unless they went to a place and they don't know how to get back there. Boxing is my number 1 sport, and sometimes you get on that mountaintop. You can't get back on that mountaintop. You only can go so far, Yeah. And when I saw Butler in that press conference when he was walking off, I was like, man, you know what I mean? He might not be able to get back there, man. He might not be able to get back there. You know what I mean? But okay, so I got them number 2. I got Boston number 3. I think 3 and 4, Boston's always seem like they stay consistent.
That's their spot.
They just stay consistent. They just there. We can get it past. We can get to Eastern. We good. You know what I mean? So that's successful to us. I said the same thing about Utah and Denver. I felt like they was one of those teams that just make the playoffs and they just stick there. We happy we here. We just happy to be at the party. You feel what I'm saying? So I got 3 Boston. I got 4 the Nets, and I was being nice, but I went on ahead and put them there. I put the Wizard at 5. I did had the Wizards at 2, but I was like, let's just be real. I got the Raptors at 6. I like Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse is a good coach and a more modern day coach, and I think he'll figure it out to at least get them into the playoffs. Atlanta, you know what I mean? I really feel like they're gonna be higher than that, but we'll see. You know what I mean? And I was sitting there like, damn, what you said about Orlando was good. Whereas they've been playing together for a minute. Right. And now it's like, okay, so what we going to do? We either going to move forward or we going to have to bust this open. Right. So I put them at 8. I already support my homie over there. So they got a new coach. So I was going to put the Bulls there. Then I forgot about the Pacers. And I was like, well, damn. I know the 2 of they number 1 players don't want to really be there. So what's going to happen with that? Nobody's really saying anything about them. So that play-in game might actually be interesting.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, that play-in game might actually be, it was interesting anyway in the East. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So who's your 8th?
My 8th was Orlando.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing too, where the Pacers are kind of where even though they really didn't do much in the offseason, they did nothing. Come to think about it, they really didn't do much as far as acquisition wise.
Right.
So I think my number one seed, like we said, it's going to be the Bucks. The Bucks are the regular season champion. Like death taxes in the number one seed in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Essentially, as long as Giannis is there.
Yeah, all the guys they got that.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, if he's out the door, last place you go. Last place you go. Last place you go. They'd be in the basement with us in Cleveland. Essentially. So then I got the Nets at number 2. Miami at 3. The Celtics at 4. The Sixers at 5. I have the Wizards at 6. The Tampa Bay Raptors at number 7. And then y'all boys, the Atlanta Hawks. We got some playoff basketball in Atlanta. Like, bring out everybody. Bring out the lemon pepper, the lemon pepper barbecue wings. Speaking of that, before I continue. So, have you guys ever tasted those wings?
Yes.
Yes. I guarantee you, I bet those because they're honey lemon. They're lemon pepper and then they're honey barbecue, right?
Yes. They're amazing. They're part of we're doing wings for Christmas. That's one of the flavors.
No way.
That's so
from
funny.
Atlanta.
That's
so funny. Not fair.
I'm doing wings for Christmas too. That's crazy.
It's only right.
Right.
Wow.
Mama wings. I call her. My mom makes the best wings, man. So I was like, that's all I want for Christmas. That's all I want for Christmas.
We try to do something different to get
right.
holiday food. So we don't do wings.
Ain't nobody trying to do no turkey and ham again.
Nah, yeah.
No.
I ain't trying to have leftover to the new year.
Right.
But
all food that's gonna last about 3 days.
Exactly. And that's why I was very curious because I think you're the only guys I know that actually have had that experience.
Yeah.
I was like, of course I had to ask that question, as far as that. Wow.
Look, we're known for music and wings.
Yeah.
Music, strippers, and wings.
I'm so happy you put that second choice in there. Yes. Yes.
Wow. But and I think the playing game is gonna be definitely interesting, especially in the East, where you look at like because I think you look at like Indiana, Charlotte, Chicago, kind of in it, and someone in that little weird little mix, and then who knows, are we gonna get the TJ Warren, the bubble MVP? Are we gonna get
right?
I think that was a once in a lifetime thing. I'm a big TJ Warren fan. I don't think he does that again for the rest of his career. I think he got a chance to just play to hoop, and he did that. I don't know if it happens again though.
Yeah,
he
started out the bubble with a 50 piece. Like,
what, bro? What's crazy about, and that's what I love about Twitter, is like everybody exploded. Like everybody was like, he's the greatest player of all time. it was him,
Michael Jordan, the
bubble. Trust me, I was a part of that Bobo, so I'm not gonna laugh. I'm gonna be devil's advocate because I was one of the ones that was pushing Bobo like crazy. Because I remember when he first got in the game, everybody was like retweeting like a legend is entered.
Right.
It was Bobo. Oh, who else it was? It was somebody else that we hyped up.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. Yes, yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
It was another player though.
Because it won't. I forgot who it was. It might have been from. No, it wasn't from Denver, but it was somebody. It was another guy because it was Bobo, TJ Warren. God, who else did we hype up on Twitter? Like, it's so crazy. Like, that's what I love about Twitter. Like,
it's the best place in the world, man.
It's just an unfiltered playground of like hot takes and cold takes, all kind of like bizarreness. But it's just so funny. Like, you be around like 1,000 people who be feeling the same way as you, and it's so bizarre.
Yeah, you will never know until you say it. So you put it out there, you see, oh yeah, okay, I was right there. All the things one retweet, like, oh yeah, I was right.
So I'm not the only one that thinks TJ Warren's as good as Jordan. Okay.
It was like Jordan, then the greater Mark TJ Warren in the bubble. Bro, I was like,
TJ Warren.
Yeah,
somebody else went off the bubble. Like, the bubble was a good experience, though, man. I would like for the NBA, because I know they're not going to do the All-Star game. I would like a bubble-like atmosphere for All-Star weekend where you just take 20, 25 players and just have them play a 5-on-5 tournament. Random teams, random select teams.
Man, that would be wild.
Yeah,
I told Chris, I'm trifling. I'm cheap, so I play like old 2K games, and I'm like, man, let them make the bubble edition of the 2K. I said, bro, I'm getting it. It'd be like, oh man, so the NBA story mode. It'd be like, oh, it'd be like, oh, the NBA the world has shut down, blah blah blah. And then as you playing, they'd be like, oh, your star player just got COVID. So he got a quarantine for 2 weeks. Chris like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. That would be so raw, man.
It would be
raw.
You are not gonna pull a Dez Bryant on me. Straight up, like my controller is gonna hit that television. And
it'd be like, your shoe guard snuck out the bubble to go get some lemon pepper wings, and they got pictures of him on TMZ.
Right. You think I'm gonna be playing? You think I'm gonna play 2K and they tell me Zach LaVine and Kobe White out, and you don't think I'm out? You think I ain't gonna go?
It might be Otto Porter though.
Right.
Have you seen
that? Would be so raw,
That's realistic. And they talk about something we gonna try to trade them. Where you gonna trade him to? It's that bad contract. He's already been in a bad contract. Much as where you think he gonna go?
Bad contract, injuries, nowhere.
Right, nowhere. He's disdeactivate him. Could you do that in the NBA? Because you know how we do that a lot in the, like I know when Gruden did it, Keyshawn Johnson in the NFL. Can we just make him like a healthy scratch like all year?
Right.
hey.
Yeah. Talking about something. Yeah, we're trying to trade him after the recent social media posts. I'm like, he should have been there before this even worse. That's just like saying, "Oh, he tore his Achilles. Oh, we're gonna trade him now." Why would you do that? Well, yeah, man, it's crazy.
I just thought that would be cool. I was like, man, like one of your players be mad, say, I can't take it no more in this bubble. I want to go home, and then he leave, and you like, what we gonna do? I gotta play. It'd be AD, and I gotta pay Jared Dudley in his place.
I'm gonna be like them dudes that be on 2K and their girlfriend delete their
Oh man!
Like, man, you understand how many VCs I used?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yo, I'll be so done, yo. I'll be so pissed off. Like, you can have that mode, but I'll turn that clean off.
Man.
Bro, yo, yeah, man. Definitely. So definitely appreciate you fellas for coming on this week to do our Eastern Conference preview. So we're gonna put a bow on this week's Couch Coach Live. Man, you guys, got to show first thing in the morning. Let's tell them about the pod tomorrow morning.
Well, we actually canceling this week. I got a scheduling issue, so we'll be back. We'll be back on next week to do the morning run. We do it every Wednesday, 9 a.m. But this week we got to cancel just because I got a scheduling issue. But every Wednesday, Hooper's Morning Run, Off the Ball Network, is always fun. We get, especially getting closer to the season. I think our next one we're gonna do some previews, predictions for the season, picking our champion, MVP, and all that. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Way too early picks.
Yeah, way too early picks of the year. We're gonna get crazy with that one.
Absolutely. So where can they find your social media?
You can follow us on Twitter, the Hoopers Pod. What's the Instagram? The Instagram is
_Hoopers IG.
Right.
Hoopers Pod. What's your
My Twitter is Worldwide Fresh, WORL Wide Fresh on Twitter, and Instagram I'm Dope Fresh DXPE.
I have no idea none of my social media. Hold on real quick. On Twitter, you can find me at Jonathan_W. That's DUBYA.
Right.
It's a play off George Bush. If anybody's asking where I got that from,
yeah,
you want to know. George Bush, one of my favorite people in the world. Don't ask why. George Bush, man, W.
hey, he got fast.
Smoke Dizzle. That's where I got it from.
George Bush got fast reflexes. Remember when he threw that shoe at him? He got fast reflexes, man. I like him too. You know what I
mean? Right. You can find the pod everywhere where you can find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of that stuff. We stream through Anchor. Just look up the Hoopers Pod, and we actually got something coming later this week. So for sure.
Perfect. Maui,
can I ask a quick question? Quick question. How long y'all had y'all podcast, man?
We started Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Raptors versus Warriors. So we've been about a year in.
Congratulations, B. Yeah. Congratulations, B. That's what's up.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. It's been a cool journey for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So
my social media. All right. I got you. Deshaun Morgan, Facebook. I ain't on Twitter yet, but I might have to because y'all making it sound real interesting.
Hey, he was on Twitter I convinced him to get back on there.
Yeah, I just got back on there,
and he loves it on there. He be on there more than I be on there.
All right, I might have to do it tonight. Then, DT Morgan 78 Instagram. One thing before Chris finishes, I just want to tell you fellas, my brother is an assistant coach for Mississippi State girls basketball team, and if y'all could check him out, his name is Isaiah Fernandez, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep an eye on them. You know what I'm saying? Nikki McCray is their head coach, so if you know anything about female basketball, she's like a big star. It's a legend.
Which school is it?
Mississippi State.
Oh, Mississippi State.
They've been the team the last couple of years.
What was the name one more time? I'm trying to write it down.
He's an assistant coach. He's like a graduate assistant. His name is Isaiah Fernandez.
Okay, for sure.
If you he just was on a radio show. You can hear his on another podcast. You can hear his story. You know what I'm saying? He played against Frank Mason, and that was the Petersburg Star actually. That was his rival, and he was a point guard, but he hurt his foot in his senior year. But when the season Frank left is the year they beat Petersburg, and he played with Daryl Taylor that played for Tennessee in football. That got drafted to the Seahawks, and Cleaning. How you say his last name? I always mess it up.
Farrell.
Yeah. That was drafted number 3 for the Raiders.
That's right.
What, last year? Year before last?
Yeah. Last year.
They was all on the same AAU team. So just keep an eye on it for me, fellas.
You're definitely for sure. Do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under Couch Coach Live, website couchcoachlive.com. Also, I do work on Off the Ball Network, of course. Me and the Hoopers, that's how we are. We in that family,
Right.
So, and I do articles on offtheballnetwork.com as well. Also, I do the, I host Overreaction Mondays on the network as well. And then I'm a part of See You Sunday on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. Me and Steven and all the guys from the network, we just hop on and do NFL previews for the upcoming week. So definitely, man, check it out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. Also the podcast, anywhere you get podcasts. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Couch Coach Live. And man, we definitely appreciate the Hoopers for coming in,
We appreciate you having us.
Man, you got to bring us back for the West Coast, for the Western Conference.
Y'all want to run it back next week?
Yeah, we got to do the Western Conference.
Oh, fellas, I might as well let you know I am from Akron, so y'all might as well get ready.
Oh, no.
It's all good. One of our best friends is like he's from here, but he might be. You would think he's from Akron. How big he loves LeBron James. We ready for whatever when it comes to that.
Yeah, man. Clipper Nation. Now let me stop.
Yeah, my stomach just started hurting as soon as you said that. I'm trying to go to the bathroom.
I tell you, if they would have got Rondo, I would have kind of like, all right, I get him a shot. But now it's like it's over. It's like the Clippers is done.
They done, B.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the Western Conference next week as I'm
so excited.
Continues. Yeah, we only got 2 weeks left in the NBA. NBA will return, and yeah, man. So definitely, I want to thank the Hoopers for coming on tonight. Definitely appreciate you, Mal, for coming through, pulling up, always. So this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right, cool. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.